Strength in numbers is back, baby. Okay, well, calm down, calm down. I get it. 2 games against non-playoff opponents. You know, the Warriors bullied the Jazz defensively last night. That was what I saw. It wasn't about the offense, and we'll get to Buddy Hield here in a second, but it was the defense that opened up that game. And I think we're starting to see the impact of Jerry Stackhouse and Terry Stotts. You saw them send the double team at Jordan Clarkson, and it was like, oh, what do you know? Clarkson doesn't handle double teams well. Too bad we didn't figure that out 4 years ago. He's been cooking us for like the last 4 years, right? And that's just seemed like something new. That didn't seem like, we haven't seen the old staff do that. And then there was that final possession of the first quarter where you had Moody and Melton trying to defend a pick and roll with Lauri Markkanen, and Melton denied the pass initially. They switched, and then Moody came over late and doubled, and you could watch the bench. Steph was on his feet, the coaching staff. You can see the emphasis and importance on executing defensively. And of course, I think we have better personnel to do so, right? That's obvious. But I really think the double teaming of Clarkson and the strategy, the KYP of Utah and being a little more dynamic. The other thing that I loved was when Steph sprung a ball pressure on the inbounder in the backcourt and created a turnover, right? And so we get a bucket and Will Hardy hits a timeout. They're getting blown off their floor at home, right? And we come out of the timeout. Surprise, we're in a full court press. And it just speaks to the mentality. I think we're changing the mentality as far as having a killer instinct, right? Having a killer instinct and putting these teams away. The depth certainly is going to help that. But that's what I saw last night. It wasn't about. But sure, Buddy is fun, and we're going to talk about that. But executing defensively, having better strategy night to night against different personnel. They took Clarkson completely out of that game. By the way, how did Lauri Markkanen look? Listen. Lauri is a nice player. He's a nice player. He's a fringe star. He's not a him, right? And so to empty the kitchen sink would have been a mistake, especially when you considered it. Was it 200 he signed for? It was too much, right? So, Buddy, look, I'm not surprised that he's shooting this well. What's impressed me is the rest of his game, his floor game, the way he's running the floor, how he's finishing, some of the passes. He has this hook. He's just his spatial awareness of understanding. You've seen some 2-on-1s where he just runs it perfectly. You would think if you're in the NBA, you could run a 2-on-1 properly, but you watch the NBA enough, that's not the case. But I've just been impressed with Buddy's floor game, right? And so the Jazz have to deal with this Buddy barrage in the first half. And then Steph's like, oh, no, I got to get mine too. The second half, let me get like 15, 16 here in the third quarter. Could be a lot to deal with. And then the depth and the execution defensively to hold these leads. You saw them just bully the spirit out of this young Jazz team. Now, let's talk about this starting lineup. And look, Kuminga's struggling. There's no doubt about it. There's just a lot of poor decision-making from him right now, and he's pressing. We all understand why. How do you get out of it? I think just defend and rebound, right? That would be the thing. But the debate has already started. How long can you stay with this starting lineup with Kuminga and Wiggins, right? Well, you certainly aren't taking Wiggins out, not the way he's looked. And we'll talk about him here in a second. So you'd be pulling Kuminga out of the starting lineup, right? The thing with Buddy is when it comes to the way that he's thriving in the 6-man role, I wouldn't want to mess with that right now. I wouldn't want to mess with that. And so if you do change it up, maybe Moody for Kuminga, right? That's what I would be interested in. But I think the concern is you've got to give Kuminga enough opportunities to start and figure this out. They've got to give this starting lineup enough opportunity to see before you pull the plug on it. You heard Draymond say, like, we just want it, so we're pressing. We all want the starting lineup to work so much. We're pressing. And so, we get rolled. We've had these slow starts. Here's the other point that I'll bring up is, y'all, Dub Nation, if you know this to be true, we always get off to slow starts. Like, that has been the case in the Steph Curry, Steve Kerr era. I almost think it's systemic. Like, and I say that to say that, yeah, okay, you start Moody or you start Buddy. Who's to say we still won't get off to one? I think it's almost just, I point to Steph and Steve because they are the leaders of this team, and their preparation and their energy headed into games. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm sure they can't tell you what it is. Otherwise, they'd try to fix it. But I'm not so sure that just pulling Kuminga out of the starting lineup changes the slow starts, because we've had slow starts for the last decade, right? Listen, I know Buddy is going to get all the headlines right now, and rightfully so, right? Just he's played amazing. He's played amazing, and we also understand that there is a honeymoon phase going on with this. But big picture, the biggest story through these first two games is Andrew Wiggins. What did he have? 13 rebounds last night? That's got to be around a career high for him. And it's not, you look at the box score, you're not going to know. If you're just a box score watcher, you're like, oh, Wiggins just looks like same Wiggins. No. It's night and day. The body language, he's smiling. Have you noticed how vocal he's been with referees and just talking with people on the court? That second jump on the glass is crazy. And then defensively, his pursuit is back. It's one thing to make an initial effort and contest the ball. You're watching him make second and third efforts with pursuing, as the point of attack defender, right? And so, yeah, Buddy's exciting. I'm very impressed. The depth is fun. All this. If you're going to get 22 Wiggins back, and that's what that rebounding represents. You saw him hit a couple threes late. You knew they were going in because he was playing so hard. It's funny how it works that way. Oh, he's given full effort defensively on the glass. He gets an open look. He's going to knock it down. That's how it works. That's how the basketball gods work. But if we're going to get 22 Wiggins and 22 GP2, we might have a real shot, y'all. We might have a real shot. I don't want to get carried away. I get it's 2 games in. The Lakers look really good. We know the gauntlet that the Western Conference is. But all you can deal with is what's happening in the moment. And right now, it looks like we got a real shot here. I've heard others talking about, oh, this team is built for a big trade. Let's see, man. Yeah, we gotta take it one game at a time here. But I think that beyond Buddy just fitting into this system so amazingly, right? Because it's like he was designed for this. Buddy's been waiting his whole life for this moment. Right? He's like, I'm playing with Steph Curry, and I can use all his tools that they've developed for him. Looney, Draymond, all these guys that know how to play with Steph, they're like, oh yeah, it's Buddy. Boom. It's just seamless, right? But yeah, if Wiggins is going to sustain this effort, you can check my breakdown today. It was a big emphasis in it. It's about 13 minutes long. And that's what, if you were waiting for this video, that's what I was doing this morning. I'm not like slacking on y'all. I stick my foot in every one of these breakdowns, and I give my all. And so that is what I do initially before I hop on here. But yeah, man, I don't know how you can't be optimistic. I say wait out that starting lineup for another week at least. And I get it, against a stronger opponent, it won't be as easy to make up if they do get down. But perhaps what I would suggest is maybe make a concerted effort to get to the line in the first 3 to 4 minutes using Kuminga and Wiggins. Just get downhill and literally try to draw it, and just that would be a way maybe to get going and stop these slow starts. But I think it's systemic, man. I think it starts at the top. You got the Clippers Sunday. We are waiting for a competitive game, right? And that's the other point that I made in today's breakdown was, look, I get it. The starting lineup is the subject right now. But what happens when we're trying to close out games? When we know there's going to be competitive tight games throughout this 82-game season, that's going to become more of a discussion. Is Draymond sitting at the end? Is Slow-Mo in there? Who's the five? Like, is Melton in there? There's a lot more questions, big picture, about closing than starting. And I think that will start Sunday against the Clippers. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.